Hi everyone, it's Dees from Turtle Dove. How's everyone doing? I'm really well. I'm here today to show you how I embellished these beautiful iridescent finished hunting eggs for a display basket or a tray. I've used a cake stand here. Well, actually it's more of a cookie biscuit little slice stand because there's a little rabbit in the middle. And I think they turned out really nice. So I made my granddaughters, I embellished some little eggs for them, you may have seen in a previous video, but I thought I would do some a little bit more special and specifically for a basket. I don't have to open them, and yeah, I can't wait. I want to buy a little basket of some sort and put some handmade other ornaments that I want to make in there. I don't know if I'll get that done before Easter. I'm hoping this is the weekend before Easter, but I'm hoping to put this up just maybe on Good Friday. So anyway, I think they turned out really nice, and I'm just displaying it here with a bit of tulle, iridescent tulle, and these want to roll around a fair bit. So a trick would be to use some blue tack if you want to have them standing in a certain way, just underneath. You wouldn't see that in the display, but I think they are absolutely gorgeous. So I will show you how I made them. I'll just show you close up. They're still drying, but this is the orange one, and I've just used whatever I had in my stash. I had these pre-made already. I bought the little crocheted flowers from a second-hand shop, and then I just embellished them myself with some tulle and a flat-backed pearl, iridescent pearl. So that's the orange one, green, that's the back. It's got a tiny little hinge there, so you can open it. Blue one, they're all the same, you can make them different. You can make each one different depending on what you have in your stash, and you know, just use what you've got. You can use paper flowers, but as long as you've got some ribbon and trim of some sort, you know, embroidered shapes look nice. These are some little bows. Just use what you've got, use your imagination. But anyway, I'm going to turn the camera down so that you can see what I'm doing. There we go. Okay, so I have this yellow one. So you need your egg. Whatever embellishments you want. I've got the flowers, so I'll be using the yellow one. I've got some embroidered bows. This is some faux pearl trim that comes in a big roll, so I've just cut that down to size, and some flat backed rhinestones. I've got this beautiful yellow ribbon which is almost finished, and it has some little Easter bunny footprints on there. So I just should have checked, but I think I've got enough. Yes, I do, and that'll be using all that up, which is good. So I think, and glue, scissors, yeah, whatever rhinestones you want to use. You can use hearts, you can use flowers, you can use resin shapes, you can use like a resin rose if you have one. I have these butterflies which I was going to put on, one of them, and I may still, just depends. I mean, that would look beautiful just sitting like that on the side of the egg. Just a matter of what you want to use. So I ended up not using those, but anyway, let's get on with it. So the first thing I do is I put the ribbon on, and I'm using this. I did use when I make them, I make them all at once, and when they were drying I would put the eggs like so, and that would help me work on them as well. Or you can use something like this to pop the egg down, just whatever you have. So I'm going to the ribbon on first, and I'm using some fabric glue. I'm just going to cut straight the ribbon at the end and then just put some heat to that just to seal the edges so they don't fray. And what did I do with the others? I think I put one ribbon on the bottom of the egg and the rest were on the top. So I'll do the top. So I'm just going to measure roughly the length that I'll need of the ribbon, and then just cut an extra, maybe 2 centimetres, 3 centimetres more than what you think you might need. Now, which one did I see? Yeah, this one. Okay, so now I'm going to start it off by just putting a little bit of fabric glue, maybe 2 or 3 centimetres down, and I'm using this plastic sheet because I've got glue everywhere all over my mat, because with this you've got to make sure you cover all of the width of the ribbon and the length, otherwise you're going to get little pockets that poke out, and I think that happened with the green one, but I ended up hiding the worst spot with the flower, so you can always hide things. Now this glue's nearly finished, which is why it's taking a while to come out. Now I just slide that with my finger and make sure all the edges are done. I'm forever rubbing my fingers together to get the excess glue off, because you don't want, with this finish, you really don't want glue all over the place. So I'm just going to start at the hinge at the back and then place that down. And this glue is good, it gets pretty tacky fairly quick, so as long as you don't use a real lot. And if you wanted to be able to open the egg, just make sure you go a little bit below the rim, just so that you don't get any excess glue up into the rim and then it's going to glue shut. So, but I'm going to keep these ones closed, and then that's already gripping, so I'm just going to lay that down. Just make sure. Okay, so I want it to overlap a little bit, so I'm just going to cut that there, cut the excess off, and make sure it's not going to fray. And then I'm just going to lay it down, get the glue again. I have another big bottle ready to go. This glue is quite expensive, it was $20 for that big one, but it's really good. I don't just use it for fabrics either. Now you could use hot glue, but I don't trust that on plastic. So I'm just going to run the glue along the ribbon right to the end. I've got to close this, otherwise it just oozes out everywhere. Just being careful. And then I'm just going to run my fingers along the ribbon without getting it on the other side. And if you don't do this, you also get dark and light patches on the good side. So yeah, you really want to make sure that the whole ribbon is covered. So now I'm just going to be very careful with that and grab the end and just bring that all the way around. Now the narrower the ribbon, the easier it is. Because you're not going to get those little pockets. You can't use ribbon that's too wide, unless otherwise it's not going to stick down properly. So I'm just going to make sure that everything's stuck down nicely. And you're not going to get any dark or light patches because you've put the glue everywhere, and hopefully you're not going to get pockets either, pockets of ribbon that hasn't stuck down. So that's the top bit. Doesn't that look cute? And now we're going to do the bottom, and I've chosen this. I got from Cheapers Chips a long time ago, and you just cut it down to size. So I cut an extra 2 more than I need, just so that I can hold it while I'm wrapping it, and then you can use those, the remaining 2, for another project. So I'm just going to cut that all along. This has already been pre-measured because it's from the previous X that I finished. So now I'm going to close the egg, just to make sure. Now if you see, the blue one is a lot narrower, and it sits down much better. Now while I've got a lot of ribbon, I just didn't have the right colours for the narrow ribbons, so that's why I went with the sizes that I did. But I couldn't go wider than that, I don't think. So I'm always starting at the back. Okay, so I'm going to leave 2. I'm not going to glue the end 2 because I don't need those, but that gives me something to hold on to. And I'm going to do a dab of glue on each of those little circles. This glue smells quite strong actually, but it is really good. And make sure the last one's got plenty on it. Okay, so now it can get stringy, so you've got to be careful with this. Just use whatever glue that you're happy with, you're familiar with, that you think will do the job. I could have used some hot glue on every 3rd or 4th maybe, but just so that it's dry on those spots reasonably quickly, but I'm going to just keep doing what I've been doing. Okay, it's a bit fiddly again, try not to get glue everywhere. And just gently push that down, and you have 2 left, and there'll be a little bit of a gap, but we will finish that off in a while. I'm just going to put a flat backed little pearl just in that space there. So it's already looking nice. Now this is where I'm going to use this just to sit it on, and I'm always checking where the back is. Okay, so next thing I want to do the top. Now when I'm making a whole lot, I'll do each step with all of them, and that way by the time you've done the last one, the first one's already quite tacky and dry. So but just doing one from start to finish is going to be a little bit more fiddly for me just to show you, but I want to show you, so that's okay. So now I've got these little bows, and I bought these on eBay a few years ago. So I'm going to grab 2 because there's 2 holes there and I want to cover them. Now another thing you could do is get some twine before you decorate the top and thread that through so that you can use it as an ornament. But I'm not using these as an ornament. I'm using like a tree ornament, I mean. I'm going to use them in a bowl, so just depends what you want to use it for. But yeah, you can make ornaments out of them because there's two lovely holes there ready for you. But these eggs are a little bit big. I'd need a pretty big tree if I wanted to put them on a tree, so I'm actually not using a lot of my Easter decorations this year because a lot of them are ceramic and the girls are just getting to that age where they want to touch everything. They have been pretty good, but yeah, as they get older I think they're more curious, and I just thought I'm going to put out the things that don't break, and that way I don't have to stress and no one has to stress. So always making sure you're gluing the wrong side, because it's easy to do even with the ribbon. You want to make sure you glue the wrong side, not the good side. And I have done that before. And I'm just going to put that all around the back. Let's grab that, wipe any glue off of you again. I'm constantly doing that because I don't want glue on this nice finish. And checking where the back is again, where the hinge is. So I want to cover these holes. You might have a beautiful embroidered flower that drapes all the way down. So that's one side. I'll turn it around and I'll do the other side. So just use what you have in your stash. I know you can get some beautiful embroidered roses and they're coloured too. So I don't have a real lot of that stuff. I just want to try and use what I've got. So which one? That's the wrong side. And do any trimming just before you glue it down, because once it's down you won't be able to. But yeah, I want to buy a nice cane Easter basket. Or maybe it's not cane, you know what I mean, just the natural looking woven baskets. So you can still see a little bit of the hole. So I'm just going to overlap the edge of those bowls slightly. And just bring that down. I'm just going to hold that for a little bit. It can get stringy because the glue comes through. So yeah, I'm just always being careful not to get glue all over the pretty iridescent finish. So that's the back. Okay, so that looks nice just like that. But I'm going to put some pretty flat backed rhinestones on the top. You can use anything you have. Again, you can put a flower on the top there, just a little one. But I'm using these. I have so many of these. Put plenty of glue on there. Actually, I might put a bit more, because the bows have made a sort of a little ditch there now where the rhinestone will go, so I want to make sure I've got plenty of glue so that grips. So I'm just going to hold that there again. You could try, I guess, you know, the hot glue, but I just don't, I find from experience, if I glue something with hot glue, especially on a shiny surface like this, it can come off quite easily. But then again, it may not on this. I just did not want to risk it, so. Now where's the back? There we go. So I'm going to put a smaller one the back and the front of that. And you can dress it up as much as you want. You could just keep carrying on with all the rhinestones and bring it all the way down if you want. Just a matter of how much bling you want. Now that doesn't want to stick straight away, so as I said before, you can go back. When I was working on these other ones, I'll just go back and push the flowers down every couple of minutes when I finished another stage to a different egg that I was working on, just to make sure that everything's gonna stick down and stay where it needs to. Just going to turn that around and put the last little rhinestone on the top. Just hold that there for a moment. Smooth that up a bit. Okay, so that's that. I think it would look nice too. You know, you could put some further down either side or bring it down more. I'm just going to leave it like that because I'll get carried away otherwise. So now I'm going to put the big flower on. Well, actually, before I put the big flower on, in the others I did this last, but I'm just going to fix that little gap up. It doesn't matter because it's the back, but I know, so it'll annoy me. So I'm just going to get some of these little tiny flat backed faux pearls, very small. Put some glue on that and stick that down. Right between, like that, so that just finishes that off nicely. If I was real fussy, I would make sure the seam is right on the centre, which this is just off centre, and then you can cover that up with another rhinestone so you don't even see the join. So I'm not going to worry about that. So that's the back, that's the front. Now I'm going to see where the flower will fit nicely. So I've got my little yellow tool, crocheted flower. I'll put plenty of glue on there, but I'm just going to test it. Now there's a tiny little bit of a, you can see it's just coming off a little bit here, a little pocket. I'm going to hide that with the flower. So that's just going to sit, you can have it sitting right in the middle, just place it wherever you think it looks nice. It's just personal preference. So I'm going to have myself 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 eggs in a little basket, and I might put this on my cabinet near the entrance. These are a little bit more special, even though they might not break. If the girls get hold of it, they might want to try and pull a gem off or something like that. So these are more just for display, more of an adult type display. So they are very cute though. Okay, so this one's going to take a bit more to grip. So I'm just going to hold it there for a couple of minutes. Just being very careful not to slide it all over the place. And that's basically it. So I just need to buy a nice basket for those. be nice if I could find the same finish. I think I bought this from either Cheapest Chips or Woolworths, a grocery shop or somewhere like that. Be nice if I could get some smaller ones, because I'll do the same sort of thing. I think different size eggs look really nice together. But this is where I'd put this aside and put that on the egg carton and work on another one when I finished, you know, one. I'd come back and just keep pushing this down until it grips properly. It's already starting to grip now. It doesn't take long, but just to make sure that nothing lifts up. So I'll just go back to that in a couple of minutes or so for the next 10 minutes and just make sure it's gripping. Can always put more glue on there, but best to put the amount of glue on you need the first time so don't make a mess. But look at that, isn't that pretty? And that's the top. Now you can bring the ribbon right at the beginning when you make the egg. Before you put this ribbon, you can, along the edge there, you can bring it down vertical from the centre and have some ribbon going down vertically if you want. But I'm just going to keep mine like this. So that's it, guys. It's fiddly with the glue, but other than that, really easy. You just use what you have in your stash, and that's it. They're very pretty, and I'll just put this flower here as well. So they're going to look beautiful colours together as well. So I'm not going to leave that egg there for long because it's still drying, but I just wanted to show you what it looks like. I'm going to zoom in. So that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. Have a wonderful Easter. Stay safe, everyone, and we will see you next time. Bye for now.